Hey Dad, so I'm just sitting here thinking about the times that I've had with my dad on all the many fishing trips that we took over the years. We started when I was just a young boy, and we didn't go. We did some trips like in Canada. We did some trips in northern Minnesota. I don't remember very many of those trips as a young kid. As a matter of fact, there's not a lot of stuff I remember as a young kid, but I do remember doing stuff with my dad. Little blurps here and there of things that we did together, like fishing for bullheads off the inlet. Now, yesterday I was over by Blackhawk Lake where I grew up, and everywhere I looked on that lake, I could see my dad and I in a boat or on the side of the shore or fishing for bullheads, fishing for walleyes, fishing for bass. I could literally see those kind of places, and I'm wondering how many of you guys out there are just like me, where you have, every time you go by an area where you and your dad did something, you remember it and you can visualize it. Those are the kind of things that stick with us. And as a man, as a dad now, I get that opportunity to do that with my kids. I think about Cabotogama. We go to Cabotogama every year. We go to Arrowhead Lodge. I'm not throwing a plug in. This is what we do. We stay in the lodge. We go fishing a little bit. We do casting for bass. I've got the poles all ready for casting. Get 6 poles casting for bass here. I like to fish for walleyes, but my son loves to cast, so that's what we do. And I got my walleye rods up here, so we'll do a little bit of that, but most of it's this, the casting for the bass. And then I look up there, if you can see it, there is a keychain piece that is screwed to my boat. And that piece was my dad's that sat on his keychain for years and years. And if I get down close to it every once in a while, I can still smell the odor of that grease because he worked on cars a lot. I can still smell that and immediately think about my dad. But I put it on here as a permanent part of my boat because it's important to me, because that represents my dad on this boat. And but most importantly, I represent my dad on this boat. And then my son represents him. The product of that time that my dad spent with me, the intentional time he spent with me, is the product of my son in the boat with me, and I'm taking him fishing now. So 3 generations. And guys, that can start with you. If you're a dad that's sitting here and you're watching this and you're going, you know what, I didn't have that. I didn't have a dad that took me fishing. I wish I did. But you have kids now, you get to change that. That is the cool part. You get to change that. But if your dad is still around, I want to challenge you to something. I had a guy make a comment yesterday on a video that he wished his dad did stuff with him, and yet he barely speaks to his dad now. And I'm going, you know what? Why don't you take your dad fishing? You don't have to talk. Just say, hey, Dad, can we go fishing? We don't have to talk. I just want to be next to you. That speaks volumes to him. Can I guarantee you right now, that dad that didn't do that stuff with you as a kid, he's thinking he's too late. He's not. You're not too late either to make that a great conversation or a great time. And you don't even have to catch any fish. Matter of fact, the majority of the fish that you catch, if you catch any, you will never remember. And I asked my son the other day, on all these trips we've taken, this is our annual father-son fishing trip, 8 in a row that we're leaving tomorrow on. And I said, son, how many of those trips do you remember, and what fish do you remember the most? And he looked at me and goes, what fish are you talking about? He doesn't remember any of the fish, but he remembers the times that we spent on the road. He remembers the times that we went to breakfast. We we don't have a schedule. I don't have a schedule on our trips. I don't, you know what, hey, let's go fishing. Okay, let's go to the boat. We hop in the boat and we go. We get back. Hey, you want to grab something to eat? Sure, we'll grab something to eat. He loves to get in the duck wontons at Arrowhead Lodge. That's what we do. You know what? It's all about the little things that make the big things. And there's no rhyme or reason to what we do on a trip. Matter of fact, I know that we're driving up there tomorrow. It's 7.5 hour drive. I don't know what we're going to talk about. I don't know what we're going to where we're going to stop at to get lunch or breakfast or coffee or what we're going to do. There is absolutely no plan of exactly everything we're going to do on what time schedule or anything like that. So if you're a guy that likes to have everything on a schedule, guess what? With your kids, don't do that. Just go by the seat of your pants and let the trip happen around the time you have with your kids. That's when intentionality happens. That's when the weird stuff happens. That's when things go nuts, go weird, and become really fun. And those are the trips that you will have a story you'll talk about for years. And I'm telling you guys, that is a big deal. So many things can happen on a trip that we can't explain. Hopefully you never fall out of a boat, but if you do, you'll remember it. Your kid will remember it. Your kid will remind you at Christmas, hey, Dad, remember when you fell out of that boat? Oh, yeah, I got so wet. I lost my phone in the water. You know, all these little things that happen. As a matter of fact, now my son lost his phone in the water once, and it's still there. Every year we go over that spot. It's up in Capitoga where we're going tomorrow. And every year we go over that spot. I turn the motor off, and he looks at me and he goes, oh, we're in that spot again. I said, yeah, we're going to have a moment of silence for your phone sitting right here. And it's always a funny thing. We laugh about it a little bit. We kind of go, oh, really? You know, think about going down and getting it because it's got $2 sitting in it, you know. But that's been like 6 years ago. And every year we still go look at it because that's a fun thing. It's a story we tell for years. It really is. It's 6 years later, we're still talking about it. And those are the trips that make memories. Those are the times that make memories. You'll take pictures of fish you catch, you know what? But a lot of times, it's not so much the fish you caught, it's what happened to get to that point. Or maybe you fall asleep in the boat, you know, and me personally, I sometimes take a cup of water and throw it on you. Ah, what are you doing? Those are the things you remember. The fun times, the weird things that happen, the things that you can't explain are what happens, and that makes it interesting. There's so much to do on all these trips. So much. I mean, we go get ice cream sometimes. We go maybe go get a pizza at a place or eat. My son, like I said, likes the duck wontons. We order that sometimes on the way in so that they can be ready when we get there. Sometimes we drive to International Falls and cruise around, look at the big wood piles from the paper plant, or maybe it's a rainy day and we go into town and just drive around and sit and talk and look at things. You know, that there is no schedule of stuff. And I'm really excited on this one because we're going to be at 2 different lakes for 2.5 days each and then come home. And we're just going to enjoy in the moment of whatever happens. But that's what makes these father and son trips so special, so interesting, so just I'm getting goosebumps talking about it because we're leaving tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. I cannot wait to spend this time with my son and to have it all. And I make it so important that the only calls I answer are my wife and my guys that are working and my other son. No other call gets answered because the time is intentional. It needs to be intentional to spend with my son doing all kinds of whatever we're doing. And it's 24 hours a day for 5 days. And we're going to have a blast. And we've been talking about it now for the last 6 months in texts, talking about it at home, talking about little things here. He's 18. He just graduated high school. And we are getting set to have a blast on an 8th annual father-son fishing trip. Leaving at 5 a.m. in the morning. I told him he can sleep. I'll drive. I have no problem with that. So we'll be on the water hopefully by 1:30 or 2. And to see what happens. I'm Trapper. I'm Trip with Dad. Where every trip becomes a story that you will tell for years. And our trip tomorrow starts at 5 a.m. I can't wait.